Hello, my name is Carlos Rodriguez, and today I will be speaking about divorce. Almost everyone's social goal in life is to get married, have kids, and start a family. What's not accounted for is the aftermath of a bad marriage or relationship, which is divorce. Divorce is very complicated and almost always messy. A lot of parties get involved, and if you have kids, there's a lot of negative outcomes that come from divorce, but there can also be positives that come from a relationship for children in a divorce. Being someone that has sadly gone through this, I can say that it is hard, or someone that has seen their parents go through this, I can say that this is a hard situation for the kids, but it's something that you can easily overcome, and it's something that you can go through life and end up succeeding because of it. And we used to live in a society that divorce was not allowed. It was just something that you did not do. It was frowned upon. It was even illegal. And now in today's society, and with our current social construct, we're allowed to get divorces. We're even encouraged. And a large thing, because the reason because of this is because of the kids. People used to say to not get divorced because it's better to have the couple stay together for the child. But when you take into account like really bad marriages, bad relationships where the parents are arguing and it's just toxic and it's a bad thing overall, then people view divorces as being a good thing because the kids don't have to live in that bad relationship where they're constantly having to hear the parents argue and fight or anything like that. And 80 years ago, back in the 40s or 30s, where divorce was very disallowed. It was disallowed because you needed to be in a family or in a marriage in order to survive. Because of human rights weren't really around for women back then, so marriage was essential for them because they couldn't necessarily get a job up until World War II, wherever a lot of the men were sent off to war, and they were able to pick up those jobs and really run the country. Now, where you can have a job and sustain yourself, so it's not that big of a deal if you get a divorce. There's parts of the world where divorce is a very negative thing still, both socially and personally, because people still have huge religious connections in other second world or third world countries where you mate with someone, you pick someone, and that's who you stay with. Thankfully, in the U.S., it's become more socially acceptable as time goes on. I feel like the social contracts are becoming easier and more acceptable. Here in the U.S., it's way easier for you to get a divorce rather than other nations or even like 80, 90 years ago. Overall, marriage is just a very, very tricky and a very complicated and convoluted thing. And there is a lot of good things that come out of marriage, obviously, if you're in a relationship to keep that love or to stay in a relationship where you love more than being in a relationship where you need to be with them because of financial gain. Even though it's still a very common thing today, not as common as it was back then, it can be a good thing. The divorce is just such a bad and terrible situation that happens in relationships. And a lot of the reason why divorce happens is because of financial reasons. And there's things like alimony and child support and having to deal with trust funds and things like that from a family that end up causing such bad disruption and the whole structure of that. And that's why divorces are so bad, very bad. This is my audience members. It's Luis Armendariz and Alyssa Bartlett.
You did good. Proud.